Hello everyone, this is Curve and welcome to Like a Dragon Gaiden, the man who erased his name, all bosses, no damage, on professional difficulty because, yes, professional, the legend equivalent in this game, allows you to restart, unlike a lot of the previous games in this franchise. So that is very nice. So I will be doing all these no damages on professional. The intro to this fight is rather long, so I will have a bit of time. So Gaiden here is basically part 1 of my Lost Judgment training arc. So I kind of like my no damage videos to be a bit of a grab bag of the more advanced tech in whatever game it's about, even if they aren't necessarily the highest quality no damages out there. But this philosophy makes me really scared for Lost Judgment, because that game is so advanced that I have no idea where to start. So I decided to play some of the other modern Dragon Engine games first to get a bit of a feel before jumping right into Lost Judgment. This first fight with Tsuruno is pretty damn basic though, because you don't even have the Yakuza style unlocked yet. A lot of the things in the beginning fights of this video are gonna kinda suck because I'm still getting the hang of it, and for these first 2 fights, I'm just completely missing half my moveset, so I don't really have much to do. Alright, now we have the modded versions, and this time I will be using Legend Remix Gaiden by AAA, the No Juggle Limit mod by Dylan T, and the Infinite Wealth Kiryu skin by Emil2391. I would also like to shout out the creator, the Fling Trainer, for this game, which helped me out tremendously. Most notably, you will notice that I am drunk for almost every fight in this video, and the trainer helped me do that without having to enter the menu for every fight, so makes the viewing experience a little better, makes my experience a little better. For most of the video, I am also going to be using various equipment that allows me to block knives or bullets, as well as Indra's Amulet, which has the amount of heat you need for heat actions. This fight here, though, is basically the same idea as the vanilla fight. I only have Agent, so there's only so much that I can actually do. A problem with these early modded fights, too, is that the bosses just don't have enough health. Despite Tsuruno having his health doubled in this mod, he really just dies a little too quick to do anything cool with him. Not that I can do too much anyway, because I only have Agent. Even though Legend Remix does do a great job at making Agent a more well-rounded style compared to vanilla. A consequence of this game being made in 6 months is that I feel like they really didn't have enough time to iron out a lot of the kinks. Not having a parry sucks, and you really don't have any useful launchers in Agent style outside of your extreme heat combo, and it overall just relies on the gadgets far too much to do a lot of stuff, because the gadgets do a lot, but your basic moveset doesn't, and I think it kind of sucks. So here we have Man in a Hanya Mask, aka Kosei Shishido. This has the same problem as the first Tsuruno fight, where you don't have the Yakuza style unlocked yet, so you're kind of limited with what you can do. Although, luckily, that is only for this fight. You unlock it in the next fight. One thing that I do need to get out of the way when it comes to this game is that I am very conservative when it comes to what I consider a boss. This is mostly because I don't want to fight 8 bajillion mini-bosses in this video, where I would be doing basically the exact same thing over and over again. So, I'm very sorry to any Patriarch Altsuki fans or Dan Brody fans out there. They will not be in this video, alongside the other 10,000 mini-bosses in the long battles and whatnot. For some reason, whatever mod it was that doubled Tsuruno's health decided to not boost Shishido's health. and as such, this fight is like 30 seconds long, because in Legend Remix, you do a lot more damage overall, so the bosses kind of just die, and they can't do much about it. Okay, so I'm assuming that if you're watching and no damage at this game, you've already beaten it, because I'm about to spoil the final boss. For some reason, the line that Shishido says at the beginning of this fight is the same one that he says whenever he does his, like, big glowy sword attack in the final boss fight, and it gave me flashbacks whenever I heard it again. So I actually do have access to the Yakuza style now, but as you likely know, Gaiden has no New Game Plus, so I'm still missing a lot of my abilities. You will see me go for the charged triangle heat action here in just a moment. I actually flipped it up there, but I'm going to go for it here, although I realized I don't even have it unlocked yet, so I can't even hit it, because I hit him with it there, but the heat action prompt doesn't come up. So Shishido is also going to decide to be a huge bitch here, and he's not going to get into a juggle, even though I need him to. And one thing I do hate about this game is how shit your grabs are. You'll see me go for some grab heat actions here, but none of them are going to work, because somebody at RGG decided that it would be a wonderful idea to make grabs not work on most bosses unless you grab them from behind. Not to mention that the grab itself sucks in this game, because it only works if the enemy is standing completely still. So Legend Remix is actually going to fix that issue with grabs for the most part, because it actually gives your grab a hitbox, which apparently makes it work. Like, sure. It's very nice considering how reliant you are on your agent grab, like, in vanilla, but also in Legend Remix, it's very useful. So I used this little tutorial segment to kind of get used to the Yakuza style in Legend Remix, since Shishido won't attack you. But just give me a second and it'll be done. Unfortunately, this attempt is going to still be pretty sloppy because I don't know what I'm doing. It also sucks because for whatever reason, Shishido and only Shishido, literally nobody else that I found in this game, will just completely ignore agent attacks during a wall bound, which you will see in just a moment here. And that really fucks things up because, you know, since you can actually use your agent light attacks in this mod, because, you know, half the time you're going to be in EX heat, and for some reason you can't use them in EX heat in vanilla. So I'm actually trying to use them here, but Shishido's just like, nah fam, fuck you. Now, I had kind of a hard time finding music for this video, because a lot of the fights in this game I consider joke fights, so I had to find a lot of non-serious music, and I'm very glad that I excluded all of those mini-bosses, or else I would have to find probably twice the amount of non-serious music. This fight is not one of those. I do have a, like, kind of serious song choice for this, which is, the Bad Apple Intense Symphonic Metal cover by, hold on, let me look, by Falcone. Sorry, I didn't have that rehearsed. Alright, now I get to fight Munakata's long-lost son. This is the first of a handful of really bullshit group fights in this video, because the Dragon Engine games really love their group fights. Now, luckily the Dragon Engine games generally give you much better options to deal with groups than the old Engine games do. You'll see me abusing the Agent EX combo, which is basically just a better version of the Crane EX combo from the Judgments. And you'll see in here in just a second, I'm going to finish off these goons with this really cool Agent EX heat action that you get, where you use, like, all the gadgets. there's one good thing that I can say about the agent style in this game, is that all of the new heat actions are really nicely animated and look really cool, really beautiful too. They're nice to look at. But now I have the very fun task of dealing with Yoshimura himself, and for some reason he has a fuck ton of super armor, like he just completely ignores my juggle starter there, so I do have to get a little creative. You'll see I tried to get another one, but I kind of fuck up there, but I will be using the wire in agent style to basically command grab him and ignore his super armor, even though it doesn't help to actually start, because, you know, he just doesn't care. He just doesn't give a damn that I hit him with a big strong attack that's supposed to hit him. I don't know, if Kiryu punched me, I would probably flinch, but no, this guy just doesn't care half the time. He cared there, but only because he's going into heat mode. So I'm gonna wait for him to do his mortal attack here, and one thing that I don't see a lot of people doing is converting juggles off of mortal reversals here, especially this agent mortal reversal, where you'll see there, if you hit it and then activate extreme heat and immediately do the EX combo, the first hit is going to break their guard, and the second hit will launch them up into the air for a juggle. But you do have to be kind of close to a wall for this to work, though. And this isn't going to finish him off, so I'm just going to pull him in with the wire again and use this conveniently placed baton to get a heat action to finish him off. Alright, so the modded version is going to start out basically the same way as the vanilla version. I'm going to start by hitting a badass agent heat action on all these dudes. And then I'm going to pop EX heat and just kill a ton of the other ones with the agent EX combo, because, you know, that is free and it's basically all that you have to do to clear crowds. And then one more heat action is going to take care of the rest of the goons. Correction, one more heat action and then I take care of the rest of the goons with you know, just attacking them normally. Alright, so the way that the no juggle limit mod works is that it makes all of your moves ignore super armor, because enemies will enter a rage mode after being hit a certain amount of times, which gives them super armor and thus stops a juggle. Ignoring the super armor makes juggles work just like they would in Lost Judgment. But this has the side effect of ignoring every other instance of super armor in the game, which makes this fight way easier. Anytime you see Yoshimura have that kind of red glow, not that one for the mortal attack, that red glow normally, it means he's doing a retaliation attack, but because of the mod, like you see right there, he was glowing red. Because of the mod, it kind of just gets ignored. So I'm gonna once again try to end this fight with a grab heat action, but I forget that grabs in Gaiden are really stupid, so I kind of just have to add a little bit of a finisher here. So I accidentally left a bit of the cutscene before this fight in, but I was too far along in the editing process to fix it without it being a huge pain in the ass, so we're just gonna roll with it, okay? Speaking of pains in the ass, though, all of the Coliseum fights sucked to audio balance because the crowd is stupidly loud. You'll probably notice that you can barely hear the game because it is that loud. So this fight here isn't anything special. Fake Watase is pretty hard to juggle for some reason, but it's not a huge deal. The song that plays in this fight does go pretty damn hard though, but it took me a really long time to find it for some reason, because in like the OST on YouTube, they labeled it as part of a specific like event that you do as part of the Coliseum, and not like the story fights here. So I didn't know that this was it. And especially considering that like the main part of the song that plays during the fight is different from the intro, so I couldn't hear what it is from the intro. Yeah, you'll see here that I'm once again getting fucked over by Gaiden grab nonsense, which just very much drags down the pacing of this fight. But, you know, Watase is going to pop his heat mode, and I will be able to get another mortal reversal conversion, this time off of the Yakuza style mortal reversal. See there, hit that once, and then you got to time this one correctly. Boom, hit of that, and hits the juggle while he's getting up. Awesome. And I'm going to end this with the big Yakuza 0 heat action, which I don't remember was intentional for me to do or not, but it looks cool, so I'm not going to complain. So in the beginning here, I'm going to get a super long combo at Fake Watase that gets him all the way down to his heat mode. Being able to parry makes this fight go a lot faster than the vanilla version, and you'll see here, I'm somehow able to get a juggle off of the reverse hit of the 4S3T, which does a crap ton of damage. I also do need to keep talking because this song is apparently copyrighted. I don't know why, because this is a parody of an actual song that is copyrighted, but I guess I have to appease the YouTube gods anyway. This fight isn't all that interesting, so it's pretty hard to keep up the commentary. So, a bit of a tangent time. By this point, my Yakuza 3 analysis should be out, so for those of you who watched it, would you like to see me cover some more of the games? That might be hard because some of the games I just don't have as much to say on as I do for Yakuza 3. And some of the ones I do are the ones that I don't like as much, and I really don't like making overtly negative videos. But coincidentally, if I do another one, Gaiden might be the next one. I gotta keep talking because I don't want to accidentally get a copyright, so oopsie daisies. So this fight sucks, because all that your allies do in this fight, I say allies very loosely, is they just get in your way. They constantly disrupt your combos and your like setups, and that's really bad because this guy can shoot you from anywhere. So you have to go into this fight with equipment that lets you block his gun and sword attacks, or else you're just cooked. Like, you can't do anything. So this fight took me far longer than I would like to admit, and for some of my attempts, I would literally just sit in the back and block until fake Kiryu killed all of the allies, but I was luckily able to get a winning attempt here without doing that, which, you know, helps the pacing of the fight a lot more. It probably wouldn't be fun to watch me just sit and block for like a minute, but oh well. Those fuckers are even gonna steal the last hit, so I can't even get the finisher. So I was really running out of music ideas here, so we're gonna pull out the Sex Offender Shuffle. So, I don't know why, but it wasn't until the modded version here that I put 2 and 2 together and realized that this guy is just using the wild dance style formation, and that's important because you can't block in that style, and it turns out that this guy can't block either, so I kind of just destroy him with one big long combo. And my allies are actually going to kind of help here too by getting some hits in, and they're going to do an actually big chunk of damage. And yeah, that's another instance of kind of just being able to break super armor, because he can kind of just grab bosses out of their like heat mode thingamabobber, and even like their mortal attack too, which is kind of broken, but you know, it's the price of being able to juggle.
Strap on my boots and watch me go, but I can't ski until December. Till then, I'm just a sex offender.
I'm Charles Dolan, dropping rhymes.
So this fight is kind of bad, especially in vanilla. And one thing you'll probably notice, especially if you watch the no commentary version, is that this fight has no audio. I forgot to change a setting in OBS, and it didn't record. And the only reason I was recording with OBS in the first place is because, I don't know why, but NVIDIA Shadowplay just decided to stop working with this game. And there was absolutely no way that I was going to redo this no damage, so you just have to live with it, sorry. Most of the reason that I didn't want to do it is because of the completely idiotic Phase 2 versus the Tigers, which is coming up here in just a moment. So these tigers are on your ass constantly, and there is absolutely no way to fight them head on. So instead what I have to do is painstakingly maneuver my drones to hit the tigers while they're running at me, and this process is going to take a good few minutes, and I just had to run in circles the entire time. And you might notice, but these drones are not giving me any heat whatsoever, which means that in the game, where you are probably the most reliant on having heat, I have none going into Phase 3. And I actually think that the lack of audio kind of works here due to how incredibly scuffed this no damage is, and it adds to the scuffedness. Honestly, I do not want to commentate me running in a circle for a couple minutes, so just skip this no damage. Like, it's not even good, it's not impressive in any way, and it has no sound, so just skip it. Skip it, please. So, now that I actually am in Phase 3, I'm basically forced to Tiger Drop him because I have no other way to approach him. And I do eventually get heat, but I'm able to do next to nothing with it. So, I really don't have anything to say about this phase either. So, yep. Hey, would you look at that? The modded version of this fight actually has sound. So the arena that I'm in kind of makes wall bounds difficult. Honestly, circles and circle-like shapes, I can't speak, are kind of your enemy in this game because it makes, even in vanilla, it makes juggles difficult, or it makes setting up juggles difficult, and it makes wall bounds difficult here in Legend Remix. I actually am at least able to get a juggle here on Ryuji, and you'll see that Legend Remix adds the wall-bound heat action from the Kaito files, which you may have seen me do already. I don't remember if I used it, but it does add it, and I do like it, but it kind of has the same problem that some other Yakuza mods had, where they add a new combo type, but they also have a heat action that's tied to that combo type. It's the same issue that the juggling mod in Yakuza 5 has, where it's very easy to accidentally misinput Saijuma's clothesline heat action during a juggle, because, technically they're in an airborne state, which satisfies the requirements for it. So you kind of have to hold down L2, and you're not always thinking about doing it, so sometimes you just misinput it. So if you couldn't tell, I am talking a whole lot because I am using yet another copyrighted song. The no commentary version of this video has a total of 6 copyrighted songs, although that's actually a lie. I put in my notes that it was 6 because there is a 7th one, but it took a second for the 7th one to actually be put on the video, which was kind of confusing because, that specific claim, the 7th one that took a minute to come on, was a song by an artist that I already put in the video, and that one song already got claimed, but it took the second song like a day to get claimed. I don't know why, but there's also one of those claims is a completely bogus claim by somebody abusing the copyright system, which, not exactly out of the ordinary for YouTube. Their copyright system is notorious for being terrible, but I will talk more in depth about that one later when we actually get to it. You probably saw, but luckily the Tiger phase is far easier and less tedious than in the base game, probably due to the super armor stuff from the no juggle limit mod, but it's still very bullshit. You do have to keep a very close eye on whatever Tiger you're not comboing at that moment, and it's very easy to get clipped. It's still not fun, but better than in vanilla. Judging by the music choices in these Coliseum fights, you can probably tell that I really had no idea what to put on any of them. I think Hatsune Miku Buddy Holly on this fight was the very last song choice I had made for this video, because I just didn't know what to put on it. This isn't anything close to what I put on actual Ryuji and, Kiwami 2, but oh well. I forgot how much of a banger Gaiden's soundtrack is. I've never really sat down and listened to Tsuruno's theme, but this goes crazy. But this group kinda sucks, mostly because of how aggressive Tsuruno is. He will attack as soon as the fight starts, so you need to be prepared for it. Luckily the stars aligned and I was able to take out all of the goons at once with this agent heat action. Unluckily, Tsuruno decides to be very uncooperative for the rest of the fight. First, he's going to start by denying most of my juggle starters here after this one. You'll see, go for one there, and he just doesn't work. This one's not going to work either. Awesome. I am able to get one into a heat action, though, right here. And then after this, Tsuruno is just going to shrug off yet another juggle starter after this QTE, of course. Or not really QTE, but action sequence. I really like this one. But you'll see here, I'm going to go for another mortal reversal setup into a juggle, and I do it right. I'm going to wait a second, boom, boom, and then he just shrugs it off. He doesn't care, because, I don't know, he just fucking hates me or something, I don't know. But, and he just dodges that one, like, I don't know. But, you'll see here, Sudono is the one boss where you can actually grab normally, which is nice, it helps, but it would help even more if he actually wanted to get juggled. And you'll see here that the rest of this fight is just me trying to scrape enough heat together, and once again, he just ignores a juggle. Yeah, trying to scrape enough heat together to actually get a finisher heat action, which isn't going to work very well. And like, look, he actually gets juggled there, but he immediately goes into his rage mode, and he just doesn't care. But I am actually going to barely be able to get a heat action to finish off this fight. You'll see, boom, barely get the heat there, and then set him up, and he has like a tiny little bit of health left, and I'm just barely able to get the cool big Yakuza 0 heat action to finish it off. So for this fight, I used Everlong by Foo Fighters, and it works really well on this intro, but the song is copyrighted, so I do have to talk over it. My logic for choosing Everlong is simply because Sudono looks like a guy who would listen to Foo Fighters. It does suck though, because this song syncs up really well with this attempt. Like at the window smash there, it syncs up, and it syncs up a lot during like the actual fight itself. This attempt does have one really big problem though. For some reason, I didn't use any heat actions on Sudono. Only combos. I am going to hit the group with a heat action here in the beginning to get rid of the goons, but that is the only heat action in this whole fight. I definitely had the opportunity to do some, but I kinda just didn't. Now I was considering redoing the fight, but the song synced up too well, and I didn't want to risk it not working as well on a different attempt. Because somehow the Yakuza EX Punch Flurry that I do in a second here decides to sync up super well to the song, and I wouldn't want to lose that. I mean, it takes a second out, because I'm going to get him into a bit of a juggle here, which he's going to just ignore completely. I'm going to try to grab him, but yeah, that's a little thing with how grabs in Legend Remix work. Is like sometimes you just get the hitbox that they added and not the grab itself. Like right there, that punch like syncs up really well, and then I immediately get it into a juggle, and then we're gonna go into the mid-fight sequence here. And one thing that I never got about these mid-fight sequences and QTEs and whatnot is that the animation work in this game is really good. It is really beautiful. All of them are done really well in this game, but a lot of them look really off in Infinite Wealth. Like, all of the QTEs and action sequences in that game have like a weird stiffness to them that I don't really understand. Like, why does the game that was made in 6 months have better animation work on its action sequences compared to the game that took 4 years? So, towards the end of this fight here, I really have no idea what I'm cooking. At this point, I'm kind of convinced that I was just mashing buttons, because I didn't know what I was doing. I am trying to hit a juggle in the corner here, but it doesn't really work out. And, like, look, like, here I'm going to have the opportunity to do some heat actions. I think I was trying to do a grab heat action there, but he just doesn't care. And, like, here, I could end the fight with the charge triangle heat action, but I just don't, and instead I end up just finishing off with the EX Punch Flurry. And I don't know. It syncs up well, but I don't know why I didn't use any heat actions. So this might be the worst fight in the game. Who the hell decided to pair a giant group with a boss who throws stun grenades at you, plus a cramped space, with Munakata Jr. on top of that? You'll see me getting some attack upgrades at the start of this fight because I need to clear out this crowd ASAP. And Hanawa is going to throw a stun at me because for some reason they decided that was a good idea. But I am going to get good enough RNG to where I'm able to block it to cancel the stun animation. Okay, that one misses. But I'm talking about the next one, I am able to block it, which is basically like good RNG that I need. Never mind, I might be tripping. For some reason I have that in my notes that I blocked a stun grenade, so maybe it's at some point in this fight, I don't know. Or maybe I missed it, I'm just blind. I don't know, bro. It's too early for this shit. But anyways, this entire time I have to watch out for Munakata Jr. because he'll just light me up at a moment's notice. But luckily he did play nice in this attempt and I am able to kill him. And look, like right there, I'm somehow able to block in that stun animation. I do think it's pretty crazy how dirty they did Hanawa. Because not only did they give him a complete shit-ass boss fight like this, but they set him up to be this like really important character only for him to get the most unceremonious death possible in Infinite Wealth. And then RGG gets surprised when people say that they liked him and they thought that his death was handled poorly. Like, what? That's not how you write a story. Have you ever heard of stories and characters? Skibbity Toilet has them. But Hanawa as a boss is kind of weird to deal with. It's kind of hard to combo him because he's got a retaliation attack, but said retaliation attack is really slow and it doesn't have a great tell. Like you'll see there, like I thought that I was going to be able to get a juggle setup, which it looks like it's going to work, and it just doesn't because he does a retaliation attack. Of course, this isn't going to apply to the modded version though. Speaking of the modded version, this is going to start out basically the same way, except this time I'm going to completely max out my attack to kill everyone as quickly as possible. And then I'm going to rocket to the other side of the arena and use the super cigarette bomb that you get in extreme heat to clear out a ton of the enemies. I do kind of throw it in kind of a wonky way, but it does work for the most part. I still have to get rid of the rest of these enemies with the Agent EX combo though. And I even get the cool gadget heat action here too. Not sure if it was intentional, but it looks cool. Alright, here in a second, I'm basically going to TOD Yoshimura by hitting the Mortal Reversal. And then, as soon as I do, I'm going to pop Extreme Heat. And then I'm going to accidentally pick up that table, but it's going to hit him. And I just take the opportunity to do the table heat action. And this is just going to leave Hanawa. And he's also going to go down super easy because of the super armor negation in this mod. Like, going to hit the Mortal Reversal here. Boom. Boom. And I'm trying to set up a specific heat action here, but it doesn't work, so I just grab him and do the wall heat action. So here's Nishitani with his freaky ass theme, and I'm going to start out with a combo that takes away his whole first health bar. Unfortunately though, this will drag him into the side of the arena, which I kinda don't want, because it is filled with a bunch of just random junk. And like I said in the last fight, where with Yoshimura, when I basically just killed him, you know, I accidentally picked up that table, and I kind of just took the opportunity to kill him. But, yeah, this is my least favorite part of this fight, because there's just so much, and it's really easy to flub your combos, because you forget that you have to hold down L2 while in Yakuza style with Extreme Heat, or else you're just going to automatically pick up a random object. I suppose that's less of an issue with this fight, and more of an issue of the game itself, you know, bringing over that stupid beast mechanic from all the way back in Yakuza 0 that, you know, nobody really liked anytime it wasn't on beast style. and it kind of just gets in the way in that game too. And in Yakuza 0, I don't even think you have the option to hold L2 to stop it, which makes it suck even more. I do really like that middle part of Psycho's Anthem where it gets really low-key and has that really cool sort of bit-crushed aim and break feel going on. Apparently Hidenori Shoji didn't work on this game at all, but it's hard to tell because Kitaro Hanada does a fantastic job in his place as the game's main composer. But yeah, you'll see there, I just had the QTE, but the QTEs in this game are laughably shallow. There's only 3 of them in the whole game, and the input is the exact same every single time. And 2 of them, including that one you just saw, are X. So, not even unique buttons. 2 of them are X. Yeah, I kind of had some more things that I wanted to talk about, but I kind of rambled about Beast styling Yakuza 0 for a little too long, so I guess that might carry over into the next one. Because I do have to continuously talk here, once again, because this is another copyrighted song. I thought that Paramore would work really well in Nishitani, and I think it came out pretty well. Unfortunately, this does also mean that his second fight contains a copyrighted song, and that's what I was talking about earlier with, like, the delayed 7th claim. They're both Paramore songs. This corner right here, next to the helipad, is the only place I found that had a good corner to wallbound him in. At this point, I feel like I was actually starting to get the hang of Legend Remix. There's a lot of really crazy shit that people like Piously and Switch Screen have been doing that will not be in this video. They have found ways to implement reversals in wallbounds and juggles, and I have no idea how to do that. There's another specific tech that was found for this game that lets you consistently rejuggle with the 3S1T in Yakuza style, and I have desperately tried to learn this tech, but I have come to the conclusion that it is nearly impossible to do on controller. The only people I've seen do it are KBM players, and I think there might be a difference with KBM and controller, because it seems like controller likes to snap onto enemies way harder, even without lock-on enabled, and it makes that tech extremely hard to do. I have been able to get it maybe twice out of like 60 attempts, so if anyone can find a consistent method for it with controller, that would be great. The song that I used here also has a really good sync going into his heat phase. I really recommend watching the no commentary version, assuming that you do not live in Belarus or Russia. For some reason, having Paramore music in your video will block it specifically in Belarus and Russia. So to my 3 total Belarusian and Russian fans, I'm sorry. So that's stuff that I wanted to talk about in the vanilla version. One thing was, actually, damn it, I kind of forgot. When you do convert off of mortal reversals like that, for some reason it causes the enemy to get enraged much faster than normal. So I did kind of have to settle with just hitting the heat action there raw, but it kind of worked. And you'll see here, I just one-tap him after getting the mortal reversal, because luckily that wallbounds in this mod, and I'm able to get the cool wallbound heat action to finish this fight off. So here we have Nishitani again, and honestly, I do think this is my best vanilla no damage, other than probably the final boss. But I did also completely botch the finisher here in classic Curve Nasty Jr. fashion, so maybe not. I did come up with another thing that I haven't seen anyone else do, which you saw just a second ago, which is hitting the Beast charge attack off of a reverse finisher rejuggle, which you will see me do a couple times in this fight. Your damage can get pretty crazy in this game, so it doesn't take long for me to send Nishitani into the QTE, which will be here in just a moment. And that's what I mean right there with hitting the Beast charge attack off of a reverse finisher rejuggle. Right there, you saw me do the reverse finisher right there, and I was able to charge it. One thing that I kind of don't like about this game is that some of the tech requires you to grow an extra pair of hands, because, like, especially with that right there, you kind of need to switch between regular grip and claw grip like 3 different times in the span of 2 seconds, and it's kind of unyieldy for most people to do. and it took me a while to get the hang of it too. So, don't no damage this game, it's not worth it. But yeah, anyway, so after that QTE there, which is always X again, I will set him up here in this corner, and I do kind of flub it up there, because, you know, he does gain a retaliation attack in this heat phase, and I kind of just flub my execution there. I think what I wanted to do was go into Yakuza style and hit a parry, or not a parry, a knockback on it to then reset him up into a juggle, but it ended up not working out. And one thing you might notice for this fight is that it is very quiet compared to the music, because I don't know why, but RGG made the fire sound extremely loud, so I had to downmix the footage of this way quieter in order to not blast your ears out. And once again, I just completely flubbed the finisher, so I ended up having to settle for the mortal reversal. Yeah, like I said, I used another Paramore song here, so I gotta keep yapping for this one. For some reason, Legend Remix, I think Legend Remix, at least it might be one of the other mods, but probably Legend Remix, increases Nishitani's health here. I stated way earlier that a lot of the fights don't have enough health to do anything cool, but that's really for early game, and at this point, they really don't need a health increase at all. And speaking of for some reason, I say for some reason way too much. I've looked at my big giant document where I keep the notes for my no damages, and I've apparently said the phrase for some reason 55 times. So I was finally able to hit that little freaky juggle starter that Kiryu does there into that wall-bound heat action. Or no, never mind, right there I was able to hit it. I never understood why Kiryu would attack somebody by falling on the floor like a Looney Tunes character, and especially why said attack would be strong enough to launch someone 8 feet into the air straight up. And it's not even useful out of extreme heat anyway, because you can't style switch out of it quickly enough to land a juggle. So why? Just why? Probably just another factor of this game being made in 6 months, so they didn't have enough time to balance things. So I have kind of run out of things to talk about at the current moment, so let's talk about the future plans. So what game am I going to no damage next? Probably Yakuza 5, unless something possesses me to do Judgment. I am still waiting on Exactions Kiwami, so I will not be doing Kiwami anytime soon. And honestly, I would like to put that game off for as long as possible, because I don't like it very much. And I also don't want to learn the tech for that game. That game is honestly just as scary, well maybe not just as, but around the same level of scary as Lost Judgment, because I do not want to learn Godspeed combos. Sorry, I don't want to do it. And you see me there committing a mortal sin of no damaging. I did accidentally reuse a heat action here. I'm very sorry. I did reuse the wall-bound heat action. I know that is unforgivable, but I hope that you can somehow find it in you to forgive me anyway. So luckily this is the last copyrighted song in this video, although I will say that with a bit of an asterisk with the bogus claim that I mentioned earlier, which I will explain in a little while. So this fight is really fucking cool, but oh my god is it a ginormous pain in the ass to no damage. So first I gotta serpent to one side of the arena to lure Nishitani away, and then I have to go to the other side behind this truck. This truck is your best friend for this fight because it kind of breaks the AI, and most of the time enemies will not follow you back there, which is going to let me go into extreme heat mode and spam the drones, and then chuck a cigarette or two into the crowd. At this point, enough of the crowd should be taken care of to where Nishitani will throw a stun at you like that. Make sure to block that or you might get hit during the stun animation. And once again, just keep going until the game decides to put you into the next sequence of this fight with Nishitani. And if you couldn't tell, I do have my attack completely maxed out because I am not no damaging this shit otherwise. Sorry. So I'm going to do the little Spider-Man sequence to get up there. I'm going to pop Extreme Heat though, because what I'm going to do as soon as I get up there is immediately do the Agent EX heat action, which is going to get rid of 2 of the goons and get Nishitani down to below half health. The other goons are going to basically be one-hits, and Nishitani will also be pretty much a one-hit after hitting the Mortal Reversal. Alright, so going into the final phase here, the game is thankfully going to get rid of most of the crowd for you, but I do recommend hard focusing this guy with the gun as soon as you regain control, because that's going to make it a lot easier. And then I also recommend after that, killing Shishido ASAP, because he will be on your ass the whole time. But after you take care of him, the fight is pretty much done. Alrighty guys, I hope you're ready to see my awesome and totally legit, not cheated, modded no damage of the Treachery fight. So big shoutouts to Gavin Z Beats for the excellent score to this fight. This is the Double Life Aggressive Gaming Funk remix, that's aggressive with 1G and gaming without the K. So if you couldn't tell, which you definitely should, I do have God Mode and insta-kills on for this fight, because there is no way I am no damaging this shit more than once. Sorry. Even if I did, it would be the exact same thing as the vanilla version. I'm very certain that this is more entertaining to watch than me throwing bombs over a truck like a goddamn snowball fight for a second time in a row. And one cool thing that I learned about this Nishitani section of the fight is that, apparently, you don't have to get rid of the goons as long as Nishitani dies. And you don't even have to be forced to do his, whole keep mode, mortal reversal shit anyway. You can just kill him, and then it's done. Also, check out this drop, though. This shit goes crazy. So Watase is going to steal the final hit here, unfortunately, but he's rocking the Peter Griffin fit, so I'll let him have it. So here's the Treachery fight, but better. This fight was actually a lot easier than I was expecting. This took me like 3 tries maybe, and 12 minutes. But I did approach it in basically the same way as the Treachery fight. I just sat back and threw cigarettes into the crowd and summoned a crap ton of drones to take care of all the stragglers. I don't remember if I had any attack upgrades for this fight though. If I did, then I didn't have nearly as many as the Treachery fight. I think it definitely helps that you have 3 competent allies helping you out, and that it's just a smaller crowd in general. No shade to Tsuruno and Watase, but I'd much rather have Majima, Saejima, and Daigo on my side. So, the song choice for this fight was pretty fucking obvious. I mean, it's the Yakuza 4 fight. I mean, I guess it isn't the Yakuza 4, but, you know, this is the Shin Yakuza 4. Now, I'm just wondering when they're actually going to do something with Saejima for once. Because, you know, he's part of the Yakuza 4. I mean, Daigo's been in, like, a lot of the recent games. Majima's always there. I mean, of course, we had Yakuza 0 where he played as him, and Dead Souls, of course. And then, I guess, the Majima saga also counts. But, you know, Majima at least does stuff. He's important. Saejima ain't had jack shit with him since Yakuza 5. And even then, he barely had anything to do in Yakuza 5. I mean, his story arc was kind of complete in Yakuza 4. And, I don't know. Just, when are we gonna get, like, a Saejima Gaiden? It would be really cool to see Saejima fight someone that's, like, with the same strength as him. Like the same, like, brute force kind of way that he fights. Imagine if he had, like, a rival or something. Because, I mean, like, if we look at his final bosses, he has Kato, and Kato is Kato. And Majima fights, like, the exact opposite as Saejima. So I guess it's kind of a rival fight, but he doesn't really feel like a final boss fight, even though he technically was his final boss fight in 5. But it doesn't feel like a final boss, you know? It kind of just feels like the rival fight that you have in the middle of the game. But, like, imagine if Saejima fought, like, a Shishido. That would be crazy. That would be awesome. I would love to see that. I would love to play as Saejima again. But, you know, they just don't do anything with him and chuck him in prison for the 5th time, so, oh well. As much as I kinda don't like Gaiden, I gotta agree with everyone else who says that the finale of this game is probably the best in the whole series. Shishido himself very well might be the best final boss in the series, and I say that as a diehard Mine fanboy. Unfortunately, he does have so much health that this may have been the single hardest final boss that I've had to no damage yet. Each version of this fight took me 7 to 8 hours to fully no damage. The basic idea for Shishido's sword phase is that you have to watch out for his get-up attack. He's only going to do it every other time he hits the ground, with some exceptions, so if you know how to counter it, you are able to extend your combos, and I'm able to clear all of phase 1 in one big combo. So Shishido's unarmed phase is way freakier than his sword phase. So I'm going to start out with the spider tech that lets you do this grounded heat action without getting hit. And this is going to force Shishido to roll away, which is going to let me set up the big Yakuza 0 heat action in a pretty cool way. This game fixes the problem that Yakuza 6 and Kiwami 2's bounding throws have, where they will stop when hitting a wall. But this fix is not completely airtight though, as if you're in a tight enough corner, the bounding throw will immediately cancel and put you and the enemy in a standing state, which allows you to let it rip, which is pretty cool. I am able to juggle off of the heat action, but Shishido decides that he had enough and it drops. I am able to quickly get another one, which is going to close out phase 2 here in just a moment. Phase 3 Shishido isn't all that different to Phase 1. He is going to start out with a mortal attack here, which I'm going to counter, and I'm going to use this opportunity to break some furniture, which gives you a crap ton of heat. If you weren't able to do this, this fight would honestly be so much harder, because by this point you would be running out of heat, even with Indra's Amulet. He is going to be a little uncooperative at first, but I am able to set him up into this corner, and this is going to play out in a very similar way that Phase 1 did. I'm going to do one big giant combo that gets him almost all the way down into Phase 4. Boom. Alright, and I'm going to set up, I believe, the charged triangle heat action here, which is the same thing that I did in Phase 1, where I did the reverse juggle into the beast attacks into the knockback, which lets me set up another juggle. Alright, and this mortal reversal is just barely not going to get him into his final phase, but I will use this opportunity just to get some extra heat to have a little bit of leeway for Phase 4, and he's one more hit, and he's going to go into it. So I had only gotten to phase 4 a couple times at this point, so for most of this phase, I am just ad-libbing. But I am able to get the kneeing heat action off of the mortal reversal, which I don't think I had even tried before this point. And I was just like, if I can do that, that would be cool, and turns out it works. Now, this is going to get him pretty low, just a little bit past his second to last health bar, and I am in a bit of a pickle now, because, you know, when I get him down a little bit more, I'm going to try and go for a specific heat action, which requires me to grab Shishido from behind, and the only way I know how to do that is off of a knockback, and there is only one attack that you can knock back that will actually stun Shishido. So this attempt is riding on him doing that specific attack. I will get a Tiger Drop there, which is not going to quite get him down. See, he doesn't get stunned from that one, and I'm still trying to wait out that specific attack, which I need before I run out of heat, and boom, there it is. So I can run behind, slam him into the ground, and that is a successful Shishido no damage. So for the longest time, I have wanted to put Unexpectancy on Shishido. I've said in past no damage videos that I generally know what I'm going to put on the final bosses well in advance, and Shishido is the most in advance yet. I can't speak, oh my god. So Shishido is going to deny my first attempt at a juggle there, but it actually kind of works out, because it means that my heat action finisher is actually going to send him into phase 2. Now, you'll see here, boom, 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 get the parry heat action, and that's awesome. Now, of course, this song isn't going to line up perfectly with the fight, so I did have to do some editing to make it sound a little more natural, so I hope that everything sounds fine. So the combo that I'm about to hit here is completely unplanned. Well, after this one, I did plan to get this cool heat action off the wall bound, but after this, I'm gonna try and set up something, but the game was like, nah, and then I kind of just accidentally get a juggle, and I'm like, sure, and I'm gonna roll with it. So I'm gonna get the juggle here, and then I'm actually going to super armor through his retaliation attack and get a re-juggle there, which is pretty cool. So, do you remember in the beginning of the video how I said Shishido and only Shishido will negate agent light attacks during a wallbound? I'm actually going to use that to my advantage here by baiting a block, which lets me do the cool, super, really awesome block break heat action in agent, and that's going to send him into phase 3. So phase 3 is going to play out pretty similarly to the vanilla no damage, where I'm going to, hit the mortal reversal, and then I'm going to get Shishido into the corner to do a really elaborate heat action setup. This time, instead of the charge triangle heat action, though, it's going to be the EX punch flurry heat action. And the song is actually going to pick up partway through this heat action, which I think sounds really cool. And I'll let you hear it in just a second. Awesome. So the rest of this phase isn't really going to go the way that I wanted it to, so I just start doing whatever the fuck again. I am able to get a knockback on Shishido here in just a second. Or towards the end of this phase, I should say. That one's going to whiff, but then he's going to do his mortal reversal, or his mortal attack, which I mortal reversal, and then that's going to put him close to all these objects. So he's going to play my guard there, and then I get a knockback, which is going to let me do the chair heat action to close out the phase. So for the final phase here, I chose to use A Stranger I Remain from Metal Gear Rising, as I think it fits Shishido from a thematic standpoint. Too bad some motherfucker is going around falsely claiming MGR songs again. Luckily, said motherfucker is too stupid to claim the instrumental version as well as the vocal version, so I was able to skirt around the claim by using the instrumental version, which I was always planning to use. But I still got claimed for the ending, which is identical in both versions, so I do have to talk over that part, and I will try to talk over most of this as well, just to be safe. I do think I did this final phase kind of sloppy, but there was no way that I was redoing this after 7 hours of attempts, which is not fun. But yeah, once again, I'm trying to set up a specific heat action, but it doesn't really end up working out. So I end up getting some like really weird finisher, which you'll see here in a second, where it's like I tiger drop his mortal attack, and then somehow get the mortal reversal off of that, and then get a heat action off of the mortal reversal. It's like, boom, into the mortal reversal, boom, boom, and then I get a heat action off of that. And that is going to finish off the fight. Alright, so it was specifically this part that was claimed, so I will take this time to do a small outro. So, hope you enjoyed the video, hope you enjoyed the no damages too. I should have a big Yakuza-related video as my next project, but no telling how long that'll take. Stay tuned though, and I hope you enjoyed.